because it's not something I was expecting.
You weren't looking forward to it?
Not at all. Not at all. For me, I wake up in the morning, I just do what I have to do. You know, so you wake up, you just ask yourself what is there to be done, and then you do it. I'm part of an organization or a group that is seeking to improve the lives of the people and cause change in the lives of the people. So I wake up in the morning, and mine is to push the objects of my party. And so I think Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has the eye for talent. He is a problem solver, and for me, if I hear him correctly, he wants results. He says, Dennis, we are going into these elections.
Wow.
I need you to lead communication, and I believe you can do it because of what you have been doing.
Right.
I think you are in sync with me, and you are in sync with the way I think, and your mission is simply get our message to the people. Let the Ghanaian people have a reason to vote. And that's the last thing he told me.
Let the Ghanaian people
have a reason to vote.
For somebody who is under 40, young as you are, but of course very brilliant, very sharp, with this message coming to you from the vice president who wants to be the president of Ghana, that day, walk us through.
No fears, Bola, no fears.
Really?
Anything you put your mind to,
it's possible.
Everything is possible. So I mean, I wasn't worried. I wasn't worried. And I have never been worried about these things. Once it comes, you go sleep, wake up in the morning, you plot, and you do it. And I'm very sure it will be done.
It will be done.
I believe we have enormous human resource within our political party to work together and deliver December 7th. We will make Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia president.
You're saying here and now, today, the 16th of May, 2024, that come the 7th of January 2025,
president. I mean, I've seen
Dr. Bawumia will be sworn in as a president.
Bola, I have seen, I've heard, we've engaged people. We know what the young people of this country are looking for. We know the aspirations of the young people of this country. And I tell you, put all the propaganda aside. You know, when the noise is out there really loud, and you really want to understand what's going on, be silent. Listen through the noise, and you hear what the people are saying. And I can tell you that the millions of young people on the streets of this country are poised to see Ghana become any other country that they would want to go.
People are saying that you're struggling. That is why you're not communicating your message, and you say, well, we are silent because we are working. What do you say?
We're not silent. We are not silent, and I can tell you that anybody that says we are silent is just tickling himself. There are 38,622 police stations in Ghana, Bola. 38,622 police stations. This is where the votes are cast. And I tell you what, every single voter has a reason why they go to the polls to cast their vote. And so you don't go communicating wholesale. What I'll tell your staff here at Star FM is not the same thing I'll tell the market woman in Adoso. And so you go to Adoso, we are there. You go to Nyamibeche, we are there. You come to Star FM, we are there.
Is it a done deal?
It's not a done deal. It's hard work. And we are working. It's raining, and I can tell you, as it's raining right now, as I'm on air, go live on Facebook. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is addressing the young people of the north.
The Savannah region.
We are not in the northern region. He was in Savannah yesterday. We are not playing. We are not playing at all. It is not a done deal. It will be a done deal after he's been declared president, maybe 8th or 9th December. And we are not going to rest. We are not going to sleep. Our job is to ensure that what happened in the year 2008 doesn't happen in 2024. The people of this country were very disappointed in the MPP by the time we got to 2010.
Really?
Yes, very, very disappointed.
In 2008,
they were
what happened?
Because in 2008, the people of Ghana were expecting the MPP to give them a very compelling reason why they should keep us in office to continue and complete.
You didn't have that reason?
We did not do enough. We did not do enough. We didn't do enough
in 2008.
Yes, we didn't. And then ultimately what happened? We left the people in the hands of our opposition who were completely bereft of ideas. And so between 2009 to 2016, every single thing the MPP had achieved under President Kufuor was eroded.
Are you saying that you didn't work that hard in 2008?
Yes, and that
is a fact.
Oh yes, I mean, you recall in 2008, you recall. I mean, a lot of people, even after the elections, continuously blamed us that we had a golden opportunity to really protect this country's legacies that we had built at that time. You see, anytime the MPP comes to power, what we do is that we go to the foundation of this the country's architecture. be it economy, be it education, be it health, agriculture, every single thing that we work at, we go to the foundation. We are not superficial. We don't create a facade. We go to fix the basics to ensure that we have a certain strong foundation to leapfrog. But eventually what happens is that after years of hard work, unfortunately, and if you look at our political history, you'd realize that anytime the MPP is in power, we encounter circumstances that are beyond our control. So in 2008, President Kufuor, after all the things he had done, encountered the Wall Street issues, the global economic crunch, if you recall, where America itself was in turmoil, and then we had a lot of crisis in 2008. In fact, it was in 2008 that we had shortage of water in Accra, where even in Laboni cantonment, the first class neighborhoods were working with yellow gallons. You remember the Kufuor gallons, looking for water to fetch. And it was an election year. In that same election year, we had to queue for a whole day, sometimes 2 days, before you get a gallon of fuel to buy. I'm sure you've probably forgotten. And these things happened under President Kufuor. And this was a time when Ghana was
a bad moment every time.
Ghana was called the gateway. We were told that we were in the golden age of business. Those free compulsory universal basic education, the enrollment at the basic school had doubled. There were social intervention policies.
Yeah, because that was then.
No, hold on.
Are banks coming to us now to come and
I'm making a point. Eventually, when we hit 2008, the Ghanaian people went through difficulties. The similar difficulties that we are going through now. And so all of a sudden, what happened? The opposition party chanced on these two challenges: fuel price increases, water shortages, and obviously, in Ghana, once you have a fuel price increase, it affects price of goods and services. And so all of a sudden we forgot that basic education has been fixed. All of a sudden we forgot that we had trade boom. All of a sudden we forgot that we had a national health insurance that was providing primary health care for free for every Ghanaian. All of a sudden we forgot that we had eradicated the statistics that was counting maternal mortality and infant mortality. That was a time where in this country we counted the number of children who die at birth and count the number of mothers who died at birth. And Kufuor had introduced free maternal care and he had eradicated it. So fast forward, we encountered a challenge in 2008, like we encountered in 2020.
COVID,
between 2017 and 2020 in this country. And you are in the entertainment space. 2019 was declared as one of the happiest time in the life of every Ghanaian.
Yes, year of return.
Exactly.
But what about the banking crisis and all of that? Because you were talking about, people being asked to come for loans. The banking sector was thriving, it was booming. But of course, we can't say
our banking sector had gone on a reset. In our first time, we had to reset the entire financial services. Between 2014 and 2016, there were banks that you will go to and you cannot get your own money. You know that. I don't want to mention names. It was a fact. The fact of the matter was that banks were struggling. It was already a time bomb. There were banks in this country that you go today, you want to go and withdraw your money, they'll tell you the system is down.
Was that the best way to handle it?
Well,
if there was
you can discuss the best way, but the fact
I'm asking you already, because you are on the seat. If you had an opportunity, would you have done it better?
Absolutely. Because today we have a much more robust financial sector, which is growing. Look at the financials of all the banks. Look at all of the banks. Today we have banks who.
So you think that it was done the right way?
We had to do it years ago. It was something we had to do 4 or 5 years before 2017. If we had done that earlier, we would have had. At the time we came to power in 2017, we had the reset done.
The way it was done.
How was it done?
The cleanup, banking cleanup. How was it done? 9 million or 9 billion, and now we use over 20.
That's a complete. That is one of the most misrepresented facts ever.
Really?
That when you say that
how much was used to clean up?
How much was used doesn't mean that if you had a 12 billion, the banks will survive. How many banks were given 800 million cedis to survive and they squandered the money? Some of these banks that were collapsed were given 800 million cedis of our money. So it's not as if
from the central bank.
Yes, it's not as if the country had not tried
to save
the banks. These banks were given money by the country on several occasions. Some of them were given once, they squandered it. They were given twice, they squandered it. They were given thrice, they squandered it. And you are saying that when we had the chance to fix it, we should still give them money? Does it add up? So the Ghanaian person listening to me today should know that it is never true that the country had a chance to save these banks and never did.
How much
the country actually attempted to save these banks, gave them money, and the owners of these banks and some of these managers squandered the money.
During your time or during the time?
No, during the time of the NDC. So ask the NDC, when they said that you have 12 billion you should have used to save the bank, ask them, the money that you gave to the banks to save them, what happened to these same banks? So it means that clearly the facts establishes that even if we had given them 12 billion or 50 billion, the banks would have gone rogue. You know why? Because the challenges with these banks were just not money. It was poor governance. That is why you give money.
Corporate governance?
Yes, that is why you give the country's money to a bank, and then the owner of the bank will come and pick the money and take it to Zimbabwe to go and mine. That is why you give the money to the bank, then the owner of the bank will take the money to go and open a sachet water company. That is why the owner of the bank will come to the bank that you and I go and save and take the money to go and do whatever business. Do you know what was happening? Millions of Ghanaians were at risk of losing their money. And so the 12 billion was used to save millions of Ghanaians whose deposits were at risk.
So push to the wall, you would have done the same thing.
Well, I think it should have been done 6 years before we came to office. In fact, if we had done it 6 years before we came to office, we wouldn't have encountered the enormity of the challenge as we had seen it. For example, you gave 800 million to the bank and the bank didn't survive. Right there and then, when you realize that the owner of the bank has squandered, don't wait 4 years. Fix it. And don't forget, these banks were not swept into the sea. They had been put together to ensure that you and our savings are still intact. That is why it is never true that some banks had been collapsed. The banks had been put together. They've been merged. And this is something that happens all over the world.
Some of these banks are in court challenging it. So
that's fair.
Yes, that's fair. Fair and square. We'll leave that. Let's talk about, Dr. Bawumia being out there in the northern region or northern sector of the country. Tell us about the tour so far.
I think it's been really good. I mean, it's been a very, very, very engaging tour where we have the view that the Ghanaian people are giving us an indication that, listen, we are looking for the long-term sustainability of this country rather than short-term challenges. And one of the things Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is telling the Ghanaian people, all the 9 regions we've gone to, is that leadership is not the absence of challenges. True leadership is the presence of courage in the midst of challenges to mobilize the people and get them out of it. So we are doing quite well in education. We are doing quite well in health. Are you
doing well or quite well?
We are doing much improved than we were. Of course, listen, Bola, in this country today, we can be compared to just about 4 countries in the world that can say that we have opened up access to education for its citizens. That's a big deal.
So yes, people will also argue and say that is quantity, but maybe over quality.
But the quality has already been tested and we've passed. It's been tested and we passed. Today, in West Africa, Ghana remains a top country in performance in terms of
education.
Yes. Listen, how do you measure training? You measure training through assessment and test. Is that the case? The only way we can have objective way of measuring the performance of our education is through the test that we've been writing for years. Today, the statistics shows that these children are doing way better than they were doing 6-7 years ago. So
procuring past questions for them and all of that, you think is the best way to go?
You never use past questions in your exams.
I did, but government didn't pay for it.
Any student
government didn't pay for it.
Exactly.
Is it okay for government to pay for it?
Yes. Do you know the difference that is making now? The difference that is making now is that I had my mother struggling to get me the past questions. Others didn't get. So I had a head start. They failed. They struggled.
Oh, so that's why government moved.
Of course, government
to fair equity.
That is what government is there to do. You do not put impediments and barriers in the way of your citizens. Education is fundamental. It's basic. Education is the only platform that would ensure that all of us get the same level of start.
Fair and square.
Yes. So if before Bola and Miracles are in the same class, it's time for exams, and every teacher will tell you that once you are preparing for exams, you use past questions.
Correct.
Every teacher. Every teacher. You know why? Because that is the only way you can practice to be sure that whatever you've been taught, you know. So I can afford, I procure. You can't afford. You go into the exams, you struggle. I do well because I had all the resources. Now government realizes that, listen, we have hundreds of thousands of these people who cannot afford. What do? Let's intervene. And it's showing results. So really, if you want to measure whether government's intervention makes sense or not, look at the results. So we are unashamed about that. because we can see the impact. Unapologetical, unashamed about that. Because Bola, our job as government is to create a level playing ground for the people. Otherwise, what is the sense? What is the point? Why did we introduce health insurance? It is to ensure that even though I can afford and Amamiefu's son cannot afford,
it's a social intervention.
Absolutely.
I just read that South Africa is actually taking, but that's something that we'll talk about. I saw the bus with Dr. Baomia's branding, on it. I saw it first. I think that our PRT, when it landed there. Does this mean that the campaign team are all aboard the bus, so no long convoys? Miracles.
So the campaign team, the core campaign team on a bus.
They're on a bus.
And we've done it before. It's not something that we're doing for the first time. During our primaries, we actually ran the entire campaign using the bus, except for places that the bus is unable to go to. For example, if you are descending from my hometown Latte to Ayukuma, there's a sharp curve. It's like there's like an elbow. And it's extremely difficult for a bus that size to really be able to meander that space. So if we get to a place like that, we sometimes park the bus and then we jump into SUVs, go and come back and come and join our bus. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's decision to use a bus is not for face looking. It was for a good cause. What the bus does for us is that it creates a lot of team bonding. It helps us to really engage even on the journey. So we move from one constituency to the next constituency, and in between the journeys, we've done our debriefing. We've already figured out what we did right, what we didn't do right. So really,
all in aboard the bus.
Of course, because you see, you are traveling a journey of about 45 minutes to 1 hour. If you are using a convoy and you're running a campaign, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's view is that it doesn't really help in getting things going on the beat. But on the bus, we are fixing things. We are fixing issues. You have the operations guy on the bus. You have the guy mobilizing on the bus. We are making the calls. By the time we get to the next location, so if you are seeing our campaign to be well coordinated, organized, and thought through,
and
the bus is one of the reasons.
The bus is one of
yes, because team bonding, the teamwork on the bus. Can you imagine having your flag bearer on your bus? Can you imagine having your flag bearer on your bus?
You will say that this retail campaign being done is working very well.
It is.
What inspired this strategy?
Our leader. That is who he is. That is who Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is. That is what Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia represents. He, like I said earlier, he is an extraordinary thinker. He always wants to do something out of the box. The question Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is always asking you, if you go to him with an idea, is, has it been done before? What was the results when it was done? If that is the case, why don't we try this other way? He doesn't mind the outcome. His point is that once you're able to calibrate that what you are going to do has been done before, and you're not so sure if it give you the kind of results you want, try the other option and let's see how it would turn out. And so far, he has come up as one of the biggest problem solvers we've had in this country as a
one of the biggest.
Yes.
How so? What are you using to measure that?
Every single focal area that has been given to the vice president by the president, he has delivered.
He's the chairman of the economic management team.
Absolutely. As a chairman of the economic management team, he's been like that from 2017 to 2024.
True.
This country saw one of the biggest economic boom between 2017 and 2020. In 2020, every single global economy is struggling.
After 2020?
No, tell me, mention.
Mention.
Even UK.
I know UK, yes.
So mention, so give me. From the first class to the fourth class, all of us are trying to recover. So we are all recovering. The sneeze hits everybody.
Ivory Coast is doing well.
No, not true.
But if you look at the comparative,
how do you compare?
So they have actually gone ahead and they are doing a long.
How? What are you comparing with?
What are we comparing? In Cocoa, they've even been.
So let me help you. So for example, let me help you.
For example, they are leading.
Oh, of course.
Yes.
Ivory Coast has always been leaders in Cocoa.
Yes, but
Ivory Coast and Ghana.
Look at the margins, and I'll pull up.
Ivory Coast and Ghana have always been the two leading countries in cocoa. And Ivory Coast have always been leaders. What we've been doing.
They also went through COVID.
Yes.
But they've actually picked up. They look at their sporting activities. Look at what they did with Africa.
Haven't you seen what we did with the All African Games?
Fantastic.
So we have it. So I want to know.
Say that the comparative analysis. I'll
help you with some of the things they say.
Correct.
So for example, people will say that when you go to Ivory Coast, the inflation is about 3% or 6%.
Right.
Yours is 25%. Ivory Coast used to be like under 1%. They used to be about 2%. So if Ivory Coast is at 6%, what you do is you measure the percentage of growth. That is how you look at it. You don't just pick a country's indices and compare it to another country's. You look at where the country was and where the country is at the moment. If you are going to really measure Ivory Coast and Ghana, what you can do is to look at where they were in terms of each of the indices as at 2014, 2015, 2016, and where they are now. They can really tell whether they are doing well or not.
Can we say that for the dollar as well? I mean, because I just even got a message, and you said that.
So
I have this in 2015. You and I'm pulling up this. You said, I hear the evil dwarfs are back and chewing the CD. Dollar gone back from 3.3 to 3.9. Call Bishop Duncan Williams, please. This was in August 4, 2015. Miracles. What do you say now with the dollar at 14.2?
I'm very sure that if in August 4, 2014, the dollar was growing that fast, if the same managers were here today, we'll be buying dollar at 25 cents.
Really?
Yes, because what was happening? Can you tell me what was happening in 2014? For which reason our city should move from 1.2 to 3.9? Can you tell me what was happening? Tell me the extraordinary things we are experiencing now. Even today, this evening as we speak, China, containers from China to Ghana has doubled. Are you aware?
So are you saying that they were better managers? That is why
I am telling you that if they move dollar from 1.2 or 1.3,
it was 3.3 at the time.
They took it at 1 cedi.
I'm giving you the I'm just saying that on August 4, 2015, Dennis Miracles Aboagye, you tweeted and you said that dollar has gone back from 3.3 to 3.9.
That's what I'm saying. So it would have been worse. This money why was it moving from 3.2 to 3.9? What was happening in 2014?
But now you took it, I mean, at the point that you came to power, and now at 14.2.
That is why I'm telling you that. You see,
if they were there, they wouldn't have done
it. It would be worse. Really? Yeah, exactly. But why? When you're running an organization, you run an organization with the conditions. The conditions will determine where you can move the organization to. In Ghana today, the challenges we suffer, the challenges we face in the midst of global economy, if these managers were the ones in charge between 2020 and now, we'll be buying dollar at 25 cedis or 30 cedis. Because in 2014, we had no reason to have our dollar where it was at that
point.
No reason? Absolutely. Can you tell me some mention? I can tell you what COVID has done to us. I can tell you what Ukraine Russia have done to us. I can tell you what the challenges in Asia has done to us. Can you tell me what was happening in 2014? Mention, just tell me one.
Okay, so how come? Because I remember in 2022 buying dollars, because they were saying, oh, you know, those that have hoarded dollars, dollar will come down at a point. And many, I mean, we're talking about this. People said, oh, if you have dollars in your room, go change it. And it happened. The dollar rate actually fell. I remember you tweeting on the 30th of August 2022. You said this: you rushed to buy dollars at 10.1 Ghana cedis, hoping it rises to 12 cedis, so you make money. Now there you are, it's dropping. So how you go do one? Didn't you see that you were able to stabilize and manage the economy for the dollar to depreciate or to drop?
So let me show you something.
Tell us.
So if you put in an intervention, 2022 November, you need about $400 million thereabouts every month to buy crude. So it puts pressure on your currency. Then you bring in an intervention that reduces the need for that 400 million from 400 million to 200 million. Very significant. Then along the line, you see it improving. In fact, from November 2022 to somewhere around 2023, it had dropped. It almost came back to 8 cedis.
You are right.
Good. Now, all of a sudden, you encounter crises that are beyond you. Don't forget.
Like what? Because no, you mentioned COVID and all of that. In 2022 to 30th of August, you're able to stabilize the economy.
Exactly, but that's what happened again. That's why I'm saying that the crisis that all of us are trying to get out of is not over.
It's not over.
Is it? No, is it?
No, I'm saying
exactly. So, for example, in the last 2 weeks, I just mentioned the China situation to you. Today, if you buy something from China today, you can check the route that it uses. That is where the Iran-Israeli tension is mounted. So now they are using a longer route. So if they are charging you $1,000, they are not charging you $2,000 to get your things to Ghana. Now, if you spend $2,000 more than you used to spend last week to import something, you increase your prices. Apart from that, it means that whatever you bought last month with $1,000, you need an additional $1,000 to be able to get the same thing back into Ghana. Obviously, that is pressure on your currency. So these are exogenous conditions that no matter what you do, you have to deal with. When they come, you don't throw your hands in the air.
But if you're a manager of the economy, maybe you try to put in some measures, reliefs. You come through and say, look guys, this is it, we are being confronted with this, so let's take this route. How about that?
Like what?
Of course, you mentioned that people are bringing in goods from China and all of that. Today I heard the president of Guta on radio and television saying that, can't we look at a rebate? Can we look at maybe the taxes that are slapped at the port? How about that? We are the country, we are the managers of our port. Can't we say that to help assuage what is going on, maybe between now
so what you do as a leader in a situation like that, and that's one of the key reasons why Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia must be retained as a president.
Tell us.
You see, we need a long-term sustainable resolution to our economy. So long as we remain an import-dependent country, where we are importing so much, of almost about 70 to 80% of everything we are using, these challenges will never stop coming. And that is why if you have a country where you have a president or a leader that is putting in place long-term sustainability plans, like fixing your education, which will improve your skilled labor to help with your productivity, ensuring that you are boosting your industries, putting in place specific interventions to build more industries which would improve local production and reduce your dependence on the imports. You don't truncate this.
What about short-term reliefs?
You don't truncate. The short-term reliefs consistently will come, but that will fix your currency situation.
So do we have some now?
Yeah, of course we do. There are some. That is why the money you're supposed to use to go and pay your child fees, we are paying for you.
With free SHS.
That is why we are paying for you. What it means is that if you are supposed to pay 3,000 Ghana cedis a term, that is going to be 9,000 Ghana cedis a year that you are going to look for. But we put that in your pocket.
So we should give the steer to
so that the industrial plan will be completed. Today, how many auto companies that didn't used to be in Ghana are now in the country and really producing? These things take time. These things, you need 10 to 15 years to really actualize your industrialization plan. Now, if we truncate it like we did during the Kufuor era, we are in trouble. All that is going to happen is that we're going to reverse all these efforts for a party that doesn't believe in any of the things that we are talking about, for them to also come and try whatever it is that they need to do. The idea is this: let's finish what we've started. We have about 160 factories up. We need to build more. The policy is working, the program is working. There are companies that were struggling, companies that were going through difficulties that have been given some boost, and they are doing double what they used to do. Dako Farms is today producing. Kasapreko has been given support. They have another plant in Kumasi employing more people. 160.
So you believe
between 1992 and now, no government has had a deliberate policy to boost industrialization like this government has done. Indeed, what happened was that between 1994 and the year 2000, the government then, the NDC government, actually sold over 300 industries owned by the state. If the MPP was in government, they wouldn't have sold them. What we would have done was to go through the route we are doing, a private-public partnership to ensure that this factory survive. We used to produce blade, we used to produce car tires. In fact, in my constituency, Mangwase, we were assembling vehicles as far back as the 60s. These factories were there. Today, 80% of the things in this studio are imported. You know why? Because these factories that we could have revamped, 300 state-owned factories were sold by the government that is competing with us to come to office. Meanwhile, we know that this our economy would never stop wobbling until we fix our industrial agenda completely.
So under President Dr. Bawumia, these factories will be
because he believes in them. He believes that
match factory, the cannery,
it's happening.
Blade factory,
it's happening. I come from Ikiapim North. Ever since I was born, I have never seen a factory before. In fact, we used to travel from Latte to go through Dodowa and Dawena to go and see factories in Tema. I'm telling you. And then we go and stand there. School will take you.
Okay.
You go and stand there and see the smoke
on the side visit. Yes. Where did you used to go?
I forgot about it. When you descend from
Dawena, food cannery,
Sanyo. You remember Sanyo? Yes, I remember we went to Sanyo. Yeah. Sanyo had the TVs. We used to tour. Those were the days. I'd never seen it in my area. Today I have shoe fabric.
So why don't you do it now? Why do you want Dr. Bawumia to come before such factories are restored?
He's done 160 has been done. 160. Tell me which government deliberately came to power between 1992 and now. I'm telling you that the NDC sold 300 of our factories. In fact, they went to Parliament, enacted the law, called the Divestiture Implementation Act, brought the law to set up a Divestiture Implementation Committee, and sold the factories like kerosene amongst themselves. Today, some of those factories are being used as churches. So the point is that this is a government, a political party seeking to come to office that does not believe in industrialization. They have no such record. The only record they can show is that they collapse industries. That is why I brought the Kufuor example. Kufuor built the financial base, which was going to serve as a launch pad to take us into our industrial era. Then we truncated it.
Okay, so
now Kufuor had to come 8 years later, at a time when a lot of the things Kufuor had done had been eroded. Before Kufuor came, all the financial boom where banks were coming to your house for a loan had collapsed. The banks didn't even have money to pay your own deposit.
Miracles, I'll come back to you, but that's why President Mahama is also saying that give me the mandate, 24-hour economy will be a reality. He's talking about getting to industry 4.0. technology and all of that, but clearly we'll get into that. But tell us, as a spokesperson and communications director for Dr. Bawumia, and he's the head of the economic management team, is he happy with the state of the economy?
Nobody is happy with our macroeconomic indicators.
Okay. So what is he telling you?
We are all worried. We are all worried, and that is the main reason why, as we speak, it's raining, but we're on the road, because we know what the issues are. We know that
what are the issues?
The fundamentals must be fixed. Industrialization. No doubt about that. Talk to any economist in this world. Talk to any prophet. Go to the heavens and go and speak to the angels. They will tell you that Ghana's problem is that we are too much import dependent.
So why don't we do it now?
We started. That is why we are showing you.
He's the vice president.
That is why we are showing you the shortcut. I can proudly sit here and mention factories. That's what I'm telling you. That we've started. Bola, you are a businessman.
Right.
You don't see the impact of industrialization in 7-8 years. I told you, you need time. Today,
we started.
There are 160. I have 2 in my area. 2.
Mention them.
Aqua Farms, one of the biggest fully automated poultry farms in West Africa. Yes.
Farms, okay.
Shoe fabric. They are producing shoes. They have a partnership with Woodin. Go to the Woodin place. Today, this evening, as it was raining, you had young people. I was up the mountain before coming. You had young people in their black jeans and their yellow shirts. And you know where they are coming from? They are coming from a factory, a manufacturing company. We are showing the scorecard.
In your constituency or your...
The list of 160 I have that
give us 10.
I cannot open a mention to you.
No, don't open it.
I mentioned Aqua Farms to you.
Yes.
I mentioned Aqua Farms. I mentioned Casa Preco.
2.
I mentioned Casa Ropa. I cannot mention 10 factories on top of my head.
Okay.
But I can open the list and share with you. I have every data you can think of in this country. I have it on my phone. 160 Bola, and this is our scorecard. And we are saying that we've done 160. Let's finish. We can do 300 because we have shown you 160.
Oh, you want to do 300
or more?
Wow.
Because you see, if we don't do this, Bola, it doesn't matter how many times we do. And as for former President Mahama, forget about him. He has nothing to offer us. I mean, so the man is saying that I was president, but I couldn't do it. Make me president, I'll do it. Basically, that is what the man is saying. I was president, I couldn't do it. We are giving an opportunity to a new person, somebody that hasn't been president before. Let him also come and show us what he can do. How difficult is this? Why should we blow this opportunity? If we blow this chance and we give this country back to John Mahama, His Excellency, and he takes us back for another 4 years, why do we do this to the MPP? Why? Every time we move this country on the path of growth, we'll bring the NDC, they will send us 8 years back, then we will come. When we come to fill the hole, then we are about to launch ourselves into the future, then you will take us back again. But like, when is this going to end? It becomes tiring. It becomes difficult.
Miracles, how much of the current state of the economy does Dr. Bawumia personally take responsibility for, and how much would he apportion to the finance
minister? He is part of the he is part of the government. So he takes responsibility for the good, the bad, and the ugly. I can tell you without any shred of doubt that if we take sector by sector of this country, there is nowhere the NDC will beat us.
Really?
Let me tell you something. You see,
Sami Jeffrey of the NDC sent in something and wants maybe.
You can't
so you said that they can't sleep.
Of course they can't.
Really, the NDC can't sleep.
Yes, they can't.
Why?
Because we will beat them in this election. Bola, you mentioned 24 hours. Do you understand what is 24 hour economy? Do you understand it? You are one of the senior most.
Yes, why not?
What is 24 hour economy?
So he's saying that industrialization is also bringing that economies will work for 24 hours, 8-hour shift. Don't you love that? Tell me.
He said what?
You said you started that.
He said
no,
said that.
No,
what is 24-hour economy?
People are working in shift. They're going out there. So 2 a.m. you can go out there and the factory is working.
This your factory.
Is that working?
No, wait. This your factory.
We run 24 hours.
Close?
No, we don't.
Which hospital is just here? Do they close?
So I'm giving you an understanding of it.
You know tiptoeing.
No.
Hold on. You know tiptoeing.
Yes, I do.
Does it close?
No.
Okay.
But he said that it's going to go everywhere.
So it's not possible.
Why not?
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't.
Anybody that comes to promise you 24-hour economy everywhere in your country.
Some hotels are closing.
Tell me
by 12 midnight. Some pharmacies are
closing
to a hotel.
Hold on, wait.
Yes.
A hotel is opened.
Okay.
It's 10 p.m.
Right.
There is nobody coming in.
Okay.
What would you do to him for him to open overnight?
Just get things to work.
So that nobody comes and then you pay for his fuel.
No, clearly not.
So what? So that is why.
What about the pharmacy? I walk into a pharmacy now. Maybe
that is why no president. That is why no serious politician
will believe in 24 hours.
No, goes around saying that my policy is 24 hours. You know what you do?
Tell us.
You say that my policy is that when I come, I'll give you a lot more capital so you inject into your business so you can produce more.
And that's what you want.
No, when you produce more, I don't have to tell you to open 24 hours. You will decide. I have a factory. You need to fix or something.
Right.
In where I live in my neighborhood.
Right.
Okay. They operate 24 hours. No government has a gun. Yes, no government has a gun to their head to open 24 hours. You know why they open 24 hours? They open because they have a lot of demand for their products. Do you know why the factory next to them?
Why don't you systemize it? Why don't you make it, give them
it does not make sense.
Many of them want to work.
It doesn't make sense. I'm telling you, no factory that has demand for their product and wants to sell is closing at 12 hours.
Because you create the environment for
Which
them
environment?
to work.
The environment, if you go to the area where I'm talking about, police is operating 24 hours. They patrol there. When you detour on the motorway, you see that small roundabout?
Light 24 hours.
24 hours.
No, light 24 hours.
But when you say 24 hours, what does it mean? Don't you have light 24 hours?
No, so with the doomso and all of that happening.
So he gave you, okay, fair enough. He gave you, the person promised you the light. He gave you doomso for 3 years out of his 4 years. I have given you powers for 7 years and given you call it doomso for 10 weeks. 10 weeks. You are saying that you will take a 3 years out of 4 years government over a 7 years of power and 10 weeks of electricity. Even your child will be worried about you if you take that decision. Really? It doesn't add up. Bola, I'm telling you that we are going into this election with logic, no emotions. We have no ends. The macroeconomic indicators, like I told you earlier, is struggling. Rightly so. Just like the UKs are struggling, just like the US are struggling, just like Ivory Coast is struggling. Nigeria has the worst currency in the world today. We are all trying to get out of it. But it doesn't mean that we hand over the country to a government that we know cannot deliver.
Okay.
Who are you giving the government to?
We're coming. We just have about some 30 minutes to hit it. We'll be going for a short commercial break. But many messages for you, Miracles. Oh, you have a huge fan base. People say that, however, I'm NDC, but anytime that he's running for president.
It's about me, they love. It's not me. It's about me, they love.
He says, Bola, I know you are tough, but this guy is going boot for boots. I love him. He's a great politician. I want him on my team if I'm ever standing for presidency. Interesting. And that is coming in to you from Abena out there in West Legon. Also coming to you from Martha. Martha says that, wow, what a guy in your studio. Bola, I'm loving the discussion, but clearly he should also know that 8 years on, the fundamentals of the economy is still weak.
Perfect.
How much of import elements have been reduced? And I want him to answer that. So that's from Martha going out to you, and we'll get into that. But also from me, I want to know from you, has the lack of borrowing on the international capital market revealed the real state of the Ghana city?
I mean, yes and no. Again, you know, this country, like I said, you have a country where, because you didn't have a proper identification system, you had barely 10% or so paying for our upkeep.
Right.
So clearly, at every point in time, until we fix that, we always have to go and look for additional funding before we can really take care of ourselves within the year. And it's one of the fundamentals we have to fix. And it's one of the fundamentals Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has been focusing on.
Is he fixing it?
Yes. That is why today, it is very, very difficult for you to evade critical taxes, because we have a national identification system which we've been working on for close to 24 years and never materialized. Now materializing. And do you know what he did? He said he didn't give you the ID card. He said that your bank account will be connected to your ID card. He says your SIM card will be registered to your ID card. Your business that you are going to register is connected to your ID card. Your tax identification number is registered to your ID card. Do you know what Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is doing for this country? Pretty very soon, when all these synchronizations are done and settled, we're going to increase the number of people who pay towards the upkeep of this country in taxes. And do you know what that means? Once we are getting enough, we don't have to go and borrow. But until then, we need to have a short-term way of making sure that we keep the country going. So you don't come in the midst of these fixes to come and truncate the government that has shown you evidence of giving you solution for the long term and bring this government that has no idea.
Okay, so we're moving on. Still on your messages, you can send WhatsApp messages on 055-288-0216, 0535183317. And Dr. Nana Kweku Mamfe in Tema Community 25 says, Ebola, I listen to every show of yours. This is one of the best and it will go down history books. You are just great and your guest is a great communicator as well. What an interview. But my question to him is that what is in the package for persons with disabilities in Dr. Bawumia's government? Any thoughts that he can share? My name is Nana Kweku Mamfe in Tema Community 5 with a disabled center at Tema Community 25. So he wants to know.
I think that, so there's something that the government has been doing and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is taking it a top notch. So when we came to office, you know, the persons with disability have a fund through the common fund that was increased. The percentage was increased, and the president directed that we no longer give cash, tabletop cash, to the PWDs. What used to happen is that when the money comes, the DC will go and withdraw the money, put it in envelopes, and then you come, you take 100 cedis, you go 200 cedis, another quarter it comes. But he directed that we create a sustainable way of keeping these PWDs. So we started giving them capital to set up businesses. We started building containers for them. We started stocking their shops for them. We opened cold stores for them. I was an MCE then, and I remember correctly that in my district, by the time I left, we had about 170 persons with disability that we have set up in businesses. Now what Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is saying is that once these people are engaged in businesses and those who are young and growing up, what do we do? I went to Kwapman School. You know, it's a PWD school. We had a lot of visually impaired there. I was in class with some of them. They struggle. You know, taking care of a person with disability is very difficult. Unlike, you know, the regular child, you need to do more, spend more. So we need to come in with an intervention to parents so that they'll be encouraged to make sure that these PWDs have the full hall of education. But what I have seen, if you give the PWD person the full hall of education, he's as whole as any other child you can think of. I sat in class with a lot of them. So he says, once you get free senior high school, which is there, and you complete, we need to put in an intervention for you. So all PWDs who go to tertiary will be going to tertiary for free.
And that's what Dr. Bawumia will do if he becomes president.
Everybody that is PWD will attend tertiary for free.
You know what? I actually got this information from Statista, and I want to share that with you because, you know, I also want to do my research and base it as we talk about. So Ghana inflation rate from 1987 to 2029, I've actually gone down into it, and I want to give you the high indices. In 1987, it was just a short of 40%. The highest we've had in our country was actually in 1995, where it was hovering around, you know, close to 60%, 58 points, you know, that's the figures from Statista. But also in 2023, and that is what baffles, we are, in regards to inflation, we are hovering around, you know, 38. Does that give you a chance or cause to worry? And many are saying that, okay, maybe let's review some of the social interventions. So
I told you, before you be able to really be hard on ourselves as a country, always look at what's happening and be sure you are the only person going through that. UK is going through a 40-year-old inflation. They've never seen anything like that, 40 years. So clearly, it is not peculiar to Ghana with the history you are given. US is seeing its own. UK in 2022, because of their inflationary challenges, had to change their prime ministers, I think, 2 or 3 times within 6 months.
Correct.
So it tells you that it's something that is happening, it's a wave, and it's something that we have to work at. But let me show you something. In taking the decision, you are going to say that, well, MPP, why have you taken us to 38? What do? We need to kick you out. Who are you kicking out and who are you bringing? Now, if you kick out MPP, this is what you are likely to experience. And these are the inflationary figures, the record of the one you are likely to bring. Former President Mahama took office in 2012, right? He inherited this country from Professor Mills. The time he took office, Professor Mills had inflation at 8.8%. Okay, great. Now, in his first year,
Dufour was the finance minister at the time.
Yes, and it was 8.8. So when Dr. Dufour left and John Mahama His Excellency came,
right,
he moved it from 8.8 to 13.5. Then he moved it from 13.5 to 17. Then he moved from 17 to 17.7. As at the time he was living, the inflation he inherited at 8.8 had moved to 15%. Not a single year in his entire presidency was he able to bring our inflation down, at least to the point he met. Now, let's look at this. When we took office in 2017, inflation was 15.4%. We moved it from 15.4% to 11%. We moved it from 11% to 9%. As of 2019, before COVID, inflation had come to 7.9%, way below where Dr. Dufour left it. Do you know what this means? And that is the point we keep making as a political party, that what happened between 2020 and now is something that had not happened in the last 120 years. The last time we experienced it was during the Spanish flu. And that is something that took everybody by surprise. Indeed, if we knew how to manage COVID like we do today, we wouldn't have shut down. We would have struggled as a country, because today COVID is still there, but today the entire world knows how to manage it. So if you look at the government that took office, that has had 8 years in office and managed to bring inflation down to lower than where they took it, and then you say because we have obvious challenges, unless you are not acknowledging the challenges, which you cannot run away from because the evidence is abound, because you have obvious challenges, you are saying that I am going to take you away from the presidency and give it to who? You are going to give it to the man whose record shows that in each of the years that he was president, he made our inflation worse. Bola, I said, and I will say it again, we are going into 2024 elections with logic, not emotions. I agree, inflation is very bad, it's terrible.
Right.
I agree, the dollar and the exchange rate against our cedi is poor. But I tell you what, if we continue on this emotional tangent, we are going to wake up in 2027, 2028 with dollar at about 30-35 under Mahama.
Really?
But the evidence is there. This is his record.
So you think that the alternative is not?
Has he given you an? You mentioned 24 hours. You couldn't explain.
I couldn't explain.
Yes,
I told you about about running. So that if you support
if you go home, if that is what you stand by,
yes.
And you know what the case will ask you.
No.
But that, which country has 24 hours and everywhere in the country? Tell me one country.
No, but of course, I mean, people have talked about the nightlife, the entertainment.
Tell me one country that has 24 hours everywhere.
You've traveled.
Look, it's only in London.
No, but come on.
It is only in London.
Even in Accra, we have.
Hold on.
No.
Hey, Babola, what I'm telling
if you want us to put
Bola, it is only in London.
In Amsterdam, it's happening. Yes,
only in the city, one city.
In Accra, do we have that? I mean, I live out there. Gone. I'm saying that in the whole of Accra.
But who told you that in London?
No, I'm asking.
Bola,
you are saying
Bola, wait. Bola, hold on.
I'm saying that.
Hold on.
Yes.
In London,
yes,
we don't have 24 hours everywhere in London.
No, I'm not.
Exactly. So where in the world do we have? Where in the world do we have 24 hours everywhere in the city?
Mama says you make it
even
possible.
in Sydney.
He said you make it
even
possible.
Sydney.
Yes.
That is the touchlight of 24 hours.
Yes.
It's not everywhere.
New York City, you go out there to
Times Square. Times Square.
No, you
Times Square.
ask, and I'm finishing.
Times Square. So it is not not everywhere in the city. I'm saying that is false.
And he says that you make it.
So there are two lies in the 24 hours.
Yes.
One, there is nowhere in the world that you have 24 hours everywhere in the country.
Okay.
And the fact is that you cannot have 24 hours everywhere in the country.
But he says you make it possible. Why not?
If I know they have cocoa farm, that's what they do. So they go to the farm in 24 hours. So the guy is lying. If he tells you that he's like, but why? If you tell the people in Frano or Ekuyase, they give them 24 hours, they won't take you seriously. Because there is nowhere in the world, but even in Accra.
Don't we have a point that you can start and say, look, we're starting off of this?
It doesn't make sense in the first place.
Really?
Yes. It doesn't make sense. There are certain things that are not possible.
I know tomorrow
because
come back at you.
No, because it doesn't make sense. They should come and tell me that they can actually make 24 hours everywhere in this country. It doesn't. Even my 7-year-old son will not believe.
Somewhere.
No, it doesn't.
And that's why.
No, it doesn't.
Anyway,
it doesn't. 24 hours can happen. It's a push and pull situation. It's a demand and supply situation. But that is why even in Accra,
you told me, and you asked, where is it working? Does it start somewhere? Does it work somewhere? I gave you an example. No, that's
not what I said. I said, where in the world do we have 24 hours working everywhere in the country? That was my point.
Well, everywhere, but I'm saying that it starts from somewhere.
No, it doesn't. I'm telling you that.
Oh, so you should take off from everywhere.
As a matter of fact,
yes.
There is nowhere in the world that you can have 24 hours running everywhere in the country. That is why in Ghana it is already running.
So you told me that's what I was saying.
That is that's the point we keep making, and the NDC guys are not hearing that the 24-hour thing is not a policy. 24-hour is not a policy. It is an outcome of a policy. 24-hour is an output.
I'm not here to talk for the NDC.
No, but you.
I'm not struggling.
Not just you.
Yes.
They have put all journalists in the country in a very difficult situation.
I asked you a question.
Because they themselves, they have given 5 different explanations. The flag bearer says different thing. Their MP say 24 hours when they build airports. Their spokesperson says that when people will sell watch at night. Their people are saying that the organizer on the Techima highway.
You asked me one thing, and I came to. I said even for my field and where I work in media, and then we operate 24 hours. I told you,
and that has been our position.
Yes. So if you said it's not working,
no, you didn't. You didn't hear me.
Okay.
And let your listeners hear me.
What is your point?
I am telling you that 24-hour economy, one, cannot work everywhere in the country. There's no evidence of same. 2, 24-hour is a demand and supply situation. What it means is that in areas that it is needed, it will happen. That is why we make the point that in Ghana, there is already 24-hour economy working in sectors and industries.
Okay.
If you go to East Legon, where high census, there's a pharmacy that operates 24 hours.
True.
If you come to my neighborhood, if you go to Tema today, there are young people who have closed from work and gone home.
I know
there are new ones
top
who have
pharmacy in East Legon.
You know why?
Yes.
Because when they open at 24 hours, they have a market that will come and buy.
There are some filling stations that operate 24 hours.
Exactly.
So maybe Mahama wants to make sure that a lot more filling stations.
You don't promise an outcome. You promise what you will do.
So it says give him the power.
To do what?
He will make sure that on the way to Cape Coast.
That is why everybody is confused.
Frames oil and is working.
But it's there. When you want to Cape Coast, they have filling stations working. So tell us things that we don't have.
Okay.
On your way to Cape Coast, there are filling stations working.
No problem. We'll go for a break.
Tell the guy they worry all of us.
No, relax. Before the break, I got a message coming in from Martha, and Martha says that can you get him to address? Okay, so I'm opening up the message. It says can you get Miracles to address this issue? Today the NDC is accusing Dr. Bawumia of being guilty of nepotism by appointing his family members to government positions and all of that. Can he come out to say, well, he says that his sister and brother work as government officials as well as family members of his wife Samira Bawumia. How do you respond to this guilty as charged or not? But
there is who said he will not appoint Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia campaign for president? And where do you have a voice for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia campaigning for president and say that when I become president
I will not appoint family members?
Is he president?
No, he says that NDC is accusing you that you have, even as vice president, you have family members, because the person, when they say Abu Ramadan is Bawumia's brother-in-law, deputy director of NADMO, Fauzi Ramadan, brother of the second lady Samira Bawumia, and doubles as a special assistant. Also Alhaji Ahmed Ramadan, Bawumia's father-in-law. And then you have Mumuni Abdullah Bawumia, brother of Bawumia, technical advisor to the Minister of Interior.
Samira's brother is MP for Adenta. He's NDC. He didn't have the capacity. He has the capacity. That's why he's there. It's not the case.
So no problem at all with that.
So Bola, today, me, if I become president
and you appoint
my cousins can no longer work in government. And I even hear them mention special assistant. But if I'm president or I'm second lady and I have my brother as my special assistant, I should come and pick you as my special assistant.
So that's a no-brainer. I mean, that is a point that they shouldn't even push.
I want to understand. The problem is that you gave our bauxite wholly to your brother. That's the real issue. That is the problem. The problem is not your brother doing business. Your brother can do business. There's no problem. The problem is that when you carry the entire bauxite wholly, if you give part of it to him, nobody will talk. But if you give everything to him, we will talk. For me, I don't think this is an issue. I am not one of the people who believe in the fact that when you are president, so if you don't take care, what will happen is that people will stop their brothers and family people to become president. Because I'm doing my business already. Okay. You become president and all of a sudden there's a radar on me.
Okay.
It's problematic.
So no issues with that at all.
What is the issue?
NPP doesn't have
what the NDC are doing is that they are trying to wipe away their guilt. That's their problem. That's not our business. That's why they are front. And in any case, Dr. Bawumia, is he president? Is he president? See, Mahama, his classmate is another Danko Kufado, not Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. His classmate is another. They are colleagues.
His classmate is not Dr. Bawumia.
No, they are presidents. They are colleagues. He should go and look for his co-equals and colleagues, and he should retire.
Oh, President Mahama should retire.
That is what former presidents do. This is unheard of. These things they happen in the junta country, you know, the places where we have like, you know, military people. You've been president. We gave you 4 years. You were vice president. We gave you 4 years. You came to us and told us, well, I was a spare driver. He said that at the debate. I was a spare driver, and I want you to give me an opportunity to come and show you what I can do. You sent us into darkness for 3 years out of your 4 years. Banks collapsed. Banks couldn't pay us our deposits. 100,000 children were left on the street without having opportunity to go to school. You know why? Because we didn't have classroom blocks enough, and they couldn't afford.
But he did the E-blocks.
E-blocks, he did only 29. 29. If you put the number of students he can take, they're not up to 1,000. He built an E-block in Upper Mena.
So give him the chance
there is an E-block.
Housing.
Hold on, there is an
200 million was sacked.
Let me tell you one interesting. There is an E-block in Upper Mena where they built the school. You need to walk 5 kilometers before you get to the town, and it's a day school. How can anybody be this wicked?
On that note, we'll go for a break and then we'll come back. It's just some 3 minutes after 8. Dennis Miracles Aboagye is our guest here. We'll be right back. Big thank you going out to MTN everywhere you go, to Haptel is everything you and Bill's credit. Thank you very much. And also Top Choco. You know, there's nothing more pleasing than Top Choco. Chocolate spread on bread. It has the power to awaken your taste buds and also make you happy instantly. It's simple. 3-in-1.
Content.
Really?
We are not going to leave any. When we would announce when it's about to be announced.
You will announce when it's
about to be announced.
But it will definitely before June. It will be.
No, I mean it can be tomorrow. It can be the day after tomorrow. It can be next week. It can be next month. We will definitely announce when it's about to be announced. We have a strategy. But we are going into these elections against principalities and powers, and we are not leaving any stone unturned.
Really?
We are not going to leave anything out there to chance, and we put our strategies out there. Why are they so desperate to know who are our running mates? They had a whole year. A flag bearer was elected in May 2023. He announced the running mate about a month ago and did an outdoor about some 2 weeks ago. I'm sure they will do a third, ceremony. But the point is that if you had 1 year to nominate your running mate, why are you mounting pressure on me for 6 months?
So you're saying no pressure. You have a plan.
We have a plan. We know who. We know already.
Okay.
We know who is going to be the running mate. It will be announced in due.
Robert in Seoul Toom says, Bola, as always, great program, well delivered. Please ask Miracles. Will it be Dr. Matthew Opoku Pempe or Irene Natoshi Ado?
It can be Kofi Mensah. But what I see, 2008, yes. Dr. Baumia was nowhere close to being named. You know what happened? People actually cooked and organized parties at their homes, came with their freshly ironed clothes to the National Council. No, they were sure.
Oh
yeah. They were sure. There were people who knew that it's me.
But
and then Dr. Baumia was named. So the thing
so people came and they thought they were going to be named.
Yes,
as a running mate.
And Dr. Baumia's name was never part of it. So the day he was announced.
Wow.
Yes. So these things.
Are we saying that there can be surprises?
But why? The thing is in one person's head. It's Dr. Mahmoud Baumia's head, but he knows who, because he's already figured out what he's going to do for this country.
Is it Dr. Educhum?
It can be Kojo Mensah, it can be Efiame, it can be everybody. I mean, all the names you are mentioning are capable hands. Any of them can be fantastic running mates.
Okay.
And so it can be any of them. Ultimately, we need only one person.
Okay.
And he's quite clear in his mind who this person will be.
But definitely before July, then running.
It can be even in October. That is our plan and our strategy. He was named in August.
In August.
Yes, so it can be October.
Wow.
We can decide to name him a day before closing of nomination.
Hey, then Dr. Baumia is that strong that he can go all through without naming his running mate, and you do it a day before.
Why? Do you know what strategies we are using? Why do you want to dictate? Let's allow the man to follow what the strategy is.
But he has the person in mind.
Long time.
Wow.
Long time. He knows long time.
So for many that are saying that he's indecisive, he doesn't know.
plans ahead.
Okay.
Baumia knew I was going to be communication director for his campaign way before he was elected as a flag bearer.
He knew.
He's told me this. So we should allow him.
Okay.
If there's anybody that has steady hands in terms of leadership for this country, we have it in Baumia. He's not a regular politician. Baumia is not a regular politician. I can tell you I am a thoroughbred politician even than Dr. Mahmoud Baumia.
You are?
He's a technocrat. Because I started this when I was very small. So I've been basically dragged through. He is not. He's a fine line between a tech technical person, and he's learned on the job. You know, he's learned on the job, and then he's picked up. But this kind of leader, if we miss him, it will take us a long time to have another person.
We won't have any.
It will take us a long time to have another person this kind.
Really? You love his dancing skills, right?
Yes.
He's a good dancer.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
What has been the review? So we've seen Dr. Bawumia, you know, dancing and, you know, the movements and all
dance
of that.
has no formation.
Oh, dance has no formation.
It all depends on how you feel.
Miracles.
What you feel.
Okay.
As for dance, it's about moving your limbs.
Okay.
So, I mean.
So was he doing the Azonto, or he was, what dance?
Why did Azonto? I'm sure some 13 years ago, or some, let me say 30 years ago, people will see Azonto and take your mad.
But, yeah.
It became a dance move.
Okay.
Today we have another one that people are shaking.
What's it called? Yeah,
that's it. Be what?
So what's
Bahana if you dance?
Dr. Bawu, where's that?
We they can't dance you right now. The Bawu dance moves.
The Bawu dance.
We they come do them. Very soon at the BWP and the guys. What we doing? That's gone.
Lloyd.
Afonita. They do right now.
So Dr. Bawumia will bring all of them.
But the moves that Bawumia did, have you seen it anywhere?
Exclusive, eh?
Yeah, so more could promote them.
Wow. People are saying he's dancing offbeat. We should look at the economy.
But don't you heard the Trabalate isn't offbeat. That's you know the offbeat.
So you admit that Dr. Bawumia is dancing.
But also dance has no formula. Dance, it has no formula.
Wow.
You can pick only one bit of the sound and move to it. So you are doing all this one will be part. But the last one you go cut away.
Are you a good dancer?
No.
Oh, you are not.
Well, we are saying be better fast.
Now let's get to meet, you know, Dennis Miracles Aboagye. When the cameras are off, what kind of person are you?
Very calm.
Very calm, eh?
Oh, I don't talk plenty. Very calm. Wow. I know I like to be home.
Okay.
Typically, if I'm not out there doing all these things, I'm home.
You're home?
I'm home.
Oh, so you don't go out to parties, nightclubs, nothing?
I will sleep right now.
Oh, really?
Oh, no. Like loud sound, I bed. Loud sound, I sleep. Wow. You know, there are times that I will dress up, the boys will come move.
Charlie.
By the time we reach, if we say we go so by the time we reach the palace there,
yeah, you bed.
Oh, no, I'm dozing off.
Wow.
You know.
But you are married?
Yes.
You've been married for how many years?
10 years this year.
Wow.
10 years this year.
So you got married at age 29?
Yes.
Wow.
Married early, good.
You married earlier. Why the temptation? Okay, why the temptation?
Oh, no,
when growing up,
the temptation. That's it, between the age 20 now, you can do all.
So when we will come to
by the time you hit 29, you finish. If at 29 you still no see or there is a you there.
No hope. How many children?
I have 4.
4.
Yes, I have 4.
Wow, you've been working. You've been busy.
Add more.
You add more. You want to have how many children?
11, 12.
11 children.
Why not?
Wow, strong man. Testosterone is on.
If when you are not there,
yes,
there must be a lot of testimonies and it should be all over the place. You understand? And if you have 11, you encourage them.
Yes.
Charlie, you marry Eve, you marry Kobo, marry Gama. You know, so at your funeral, you should have the Evers are lining up. The Hausa people are lining up. The guys are. Then there is this chief in Ekuapem, Ekufu. You met the Justice Ekufu, their family. Oh, he had like 100 and something.
You want to be like Maxi Priest. You want to have.
Oh, but you know the our Nana Ekufu do Kwapekine. You know, Justice of Ekufu's grandfather.
Yeah.
You know what the opportunities now?
No.
He's had almost about 2 or 3 of his descendants being chief justices and presidents. You know, today if you go to Chebi, the Okwapehima is from there. So by the time you realize the Okwapehima, the Chebi Hima, you know that the Ochehima is your descendants. The Otufo then is your descendants. The Okwapehima, you know, that is how I think it should be.
And that's how you.
No, I have a wife.
10 or 11.
I have a wife
with one woman.
Yes.
Oh, not with 2 men.
No, me, I'm a Methodist.
You're a Methodist. So one man, one wife.
One, so she has to be ready.
She
wants to have 20, 30 if she can. No, it's important.
It's important.
It's very, very important. Plenty children is important. And it's fulfilling the Bible.
Oh.
You know, we are unable to
be fruitful and multiply.
Yeah, we are unable to live up to everything in the Bible. So if you have small chance you can fulfill one, you do that one. So at least you can show card and say, God, this one I do.
So secondary school was where for you?
I mean, Okwapeman school.
Oh, Okwapeman.
So from Swiss, 80% of my mates were either going to Infantipem, Adisadel, St. Augustine's, because no Swiss is in Swedro.
Correct.
In fact, as at the time I was leaving Swiss, our headmaster had become the Adisadel College headmaster. So like Swiss, everybody goes to. Then my mother said, no, you won't go to Cape Coast. You have to go back home.
Okay.
So that was how come I came to Okwapiman School. So I didn't choose Okwapiman. I didn't
you didn't?
want to go.
Okay.
No.
You didn't want to go to
I
Okwapiman?
got Infantipim School. That was the school I got.
You got Infantipim?
Yes, that was the school I got.
James Chekan?
That was the school
Any
I got.
regrets?
Because that's where, because in my class, out of the 3640 in Swiss DHS 3B then, almost all the boys were going to Infantipim. We all agreed that we were going to Infantipim.
You got Infantipim?
All of us. Because I got grade 6. I mean, if you get grade 6.
Sharp boy.
All of them. One. You know, so...
Any regrets not going to Infantipim?
No. Okwapiman School is the best.
What's your motto?
Semper Primus.
Semper Primus.
Always first.
Oh.
Always
Okwapiman, I think Kwame Sevakai was
Yes, Kwame Sevakai is it's the best school.
It's the best there.
Yeah, it's the best school. On the hills, on the mountains, serene environment.
Oh.
You know,
I'd love to visit Okwapiman.
If you boy, you know, take care, you know, go for bath every day because you were that.
Oh, so you didn't used to bath as
So I'm just saying if.
No, I'm saying
you know, day guard. No, me a day guard, so I bath.
And I'm told, you know, you are quite industrious. What's your relationship with entrepreneurship? Because, you know, yes, you have some rough moments.
Where I come from.
Yes.
You know, where I come from, Latte, Abidjede. You have to survive.
Okay.
And growing up, I grew up in a home where we're like 30.
30?
All the small house, if you enter, everybody did there.
Single room?
No, house.
Okay.
The equipment was they are small. Well, you know the place.
Yes,
they are
yes.
slim houses, and we are plenty.
30.
All the aunties were all teenagers then. All the uncles were teenagers. Everybody we're all growing up. So I lived in an environment where you have to survive, and you must find ways to. And so I told myself I will make it. The thing I will make it.
Sharp.
So I told myself that. So it's something that you keep working at. When I was at Legon, that was when I registered my first business.
Your first business?
Media X Multimedia. You know Legon, the hall you print all those exercise books.
Yeah.
We are printed.
Which hall were you?
Ekwafu.
Ekwafu farmer.
Yes, I printed the Ekwafu hall books when I was in final year.
You're kidding
I
me,
bid
really?
for the contract and I got it. I was a student.
You printed the Ekwafu
Media
hall?
X Multimedia. You know Tonic?
Yeah, Tonic. Yeah.
I used to print for them. I used to do branding for Tonic.
That must have been 23 or 20.
That time I just finished Lego. I for survive. Yeah, so it's been like that, and so I've grown up with it. So no matter what I'm doing, you always do a side
job.
This morning, if you ate sausage, I'm sure you ate my sausage.
Your sausage, you are into sausage production.
Yeah, pig farming. You process it into ham bacon. You know,
miracles aboagye.
But if I mention right now, people go study NDC. They don't go eat. You don't Ghana politics.
So they are eating your sausage, but they don't know you are the one.
If they know what I say, no miracle. So they will tell you the challenge. This miracle, so I don't eat out. You know, politics is some way.
Sausage production. Do you sometimes regret that your friends on the other side of
my best friends are in NDC?
Your best friends are in the NDC?
Yes, my best friends are in the NDC.
Who are some of your best friends? Two best friends. Yeah, like who?
Plenty of them.
No, so two.
Let me be careful.
No, two.
No, let me be careful.
But your best friends?
Yes, they are in NDC.
They are in NDC.
They are in NDC. But you see, our politics is toxic.
It's toxic.
The way the politics is. If you don't take somebody in NDC even knows that this is miracle friend. Yeah. You know, you can't even in some way. So you are always, but we know where we meet and we deal. that one, because we are friends, we are brothers.
Okay.
You know, ultimately we are brothers.
Can't we transport this or let it translate into our national politics? You know, because people like you, we want to see, especially in election.
I always tell people,
we want to see you and Sami Jemfi healthy debate.
But we are, we are. Yes. Sami Jemfi and I will talk.
Okay.
We talk. I mean, I'm sure once I leave here, he will come and say, "Oh boy, so I always tell the listeners and the viewers that listen, it's just debating ideas. We are sharing thoughts. We are competing ideas. Let's not take the aggression and the seriousness with which we assert or make our point, move it into, you know, the MPs. They are all friends. There are MPs from opposing sides that are business partners. We have business partners in NDC.
Wow.
Yes.
You have business partners in NDC.
Yes, we do business.
We do business together.
Yes,
even now.
Even now, of course. But I think we start time before we can do the politics. So we meet and still strategize around our business. Wow. Yeah, because MPP NDC, don't we have brothers who are MPP NDC? Don't we have? So we need to move on, and we all have to use our platforms to educate people. That is competing ideas. Listen to what the people are saying, and if you think that Miracles' idea is superior, you take it. But don't go fighting for me. You know, don't go fighting somebody because you've heard me say something. And no, we are friends. Don't fight for us. So really, that's how it's been, and that's what led me into the entrepreneurship space. I do a lot of things.
You do a lot of things. So sausage production, you are into what again?
I do crop farming. I've put onion. You know the Niger,
yes.
The Niger tenku.
Yes.
It's shot up. You know, onion
price. Yes.
Yeah, and I made some good money.
Wow.
You make plenty good money, so you move. You have some
onion. You farm. You do
everything they put in the soil. Me, I do it.
Wow.
You know, it's seasonal. So this one comes, you do it. This one goes down.
Into cashew or something, no?
No, not into cashew. But you know, the fast me, I like the fast moving consumables. So if anything happens, you will recover. You know, and so on, and then catfish.
Oh, you do catfish?
Yeah, you do catfish and smoke and export.
So that is up the mountain.
The land is there.
Okay.
The land is there.
Smoked catfish and you export.
I export, yes.
You're in good business.
No, you have to do it.
Wow.
You know,
what has been your lowest moment in business?
You lose plenty times. You know, you lose plenty times. You know, you lose plenty times. There are a lot of times where you lose the money and you feel like you never want to. So the lowest was when I lost about 120 pigs.
120
pigs.
You know,
you have to slaughter all of them. You know, the pigs, once you have one, you know, you have to, and then the veterinary officer says, no, this thing you have to end it. You slaughter all of them and bury them.
You bury them?
Yes, and I'll never forget it.
120 pigs,
yes,
lots of money.
Slaughter all of them and bury them. You know, so that was hard. It was difficult. At the time, I remember correctly, the live pigs were selling for almost about 950.
Wow.
So that was about, you know, close to about 95,000. Today,
you lost about 95,000.
Yeah. Wow. Just one day, and these things keep happening and they keep coming up because it's all part of the business, you know.
That's 114,000 you lost.
Yeah. So you have to deal with it.
Kill them and bury them.
Yes, you have to bury them, and it comes because it's.
How did that shape you as a businessman? Like you said, yes, the challenges will come, but how do you overcome? You are youthful. You are there, very entrepreneurial. To entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs listening to you, what is that advice?
I believe that things will always level up. I mean, that is my view. But that's always what I've believed in, that things will always level up. So honestly, I don't care when I'm going down. That is why I don't fall for threats. It means nothing to me because you don't control anything. You know, I've seen somebody standing and say, if I get you that, and then he was knocked down by a car and the guy was standing. You know, these things happen. So when you are going down, that means nothing. Think about what next, what to do. I've seen very low ends everywhere, in politics, in business. I've seen it all.
And that's what I was coming to. Your lowest moment in politics will be what?
I mean, when I was climbing my office as MC in the Capital North with my megaphone, I'd gone to, you know, campaign that people should come and register in 2020. It was in August. 2 days to, I think that was the last day for registration in August 2020. I'd come back tired. I'd sorted out my lawyer ladies who were with me. They are having their dinner. I said, let me go to the office and do some work. I get to the office, I receive a message that you've been fired by the president. You know, so you can imagine. Yes, in August 2020. Yes, in August 2020.
Wow. And here you are.
Yes.
Leading communications.
The president gave me another appointment. Yeah, the same president.
How did you take that?
You know, because the next day I started campaigning. That's all. That's what I keep talking about. So the next day I started campaigning. The next day I woke up. If I had scheduled a meeting with the chiefs in the Equiapim Traditional Council, so I was asking, should I go? Shouldn't I go? Because I was going there as MC. Now they fire you. So in what capacity? I said, okay, let me go and announce to them that this will be my last day.
You did?
Oh, it's on YouTube. So I went. I told them, you know, this is the last day. People had come to my house, plenty people. You know how politics is. Even those who don't like you can pretend as if they are with you. You know. Then I went to announce. Then the next day I started campaigning. In fact, that was when I started communication. I was not doing communication for the party when I was MC. So I started communicating, and that is it.
Will you count that as a blessing?
Yes, I think so. I mean, if there is anything I want to tell Akufo-Addo, I thank him for sacking me. Because I mean, I'll still be there. I'll still be in that small space. I thank him.
Blessing in disguise.
I thank you for sacking me. Because if you had not done that, where would I be? You understand? I'm sure even if Bawumia wanted me to be his communicator, I said, oh, the guy is MC. He's busy. You know, so I thank him for that and it was God whispering to him, fire the guy. You know, it was God. And then God that was after a year and a half, because I was fired in August 2020 and then I was called in February 2022. So that was like almost 2 years.
Yes.
You know, and I didn't go to the president. I never went to him. I didn't go to him to say anything. And it's not like I went to lobby. He called me himself and said, come. You know, so it was God and him. You know, God has to work through people.
Indeed, your name normally will go before you, and it did.
Yes.
Miracles.
Yes. So he called me. I went. So
you didn't lobby for it.
No. I was working. My lobby was my work. So I work to the point that you will see me.
Wow.
You understand?
It's now time for our mystery question. What a story! The man who was fired in August 2020 by the president was called.
So I got so the president called me in February 2022 for an appointment.
Okay.
And then he called me again in August 2022 for another appointment. Yeah, I have plenty of appointments right now.
The first one, February 2020, was what?
Was presidential staffer. Then August 2022, like when I was celebrating my second year anniversary, he added another one. The executive secretary for the interministerial coordinating committee on decentralization. I got plenty positions. Plenty.
You be hard man.
That's why if you go down, you don't have to cry.
You don't have to.
No. You see,
ever contemplated or thought of becoming president or party chairman?
No. I don't want to. I mean, I don't like elective positions.
Oh, you don't?
No. I like to support people.
Okay.
So I will support you. You get that, they give you something to do. That's why I don't want to be MP. I don't want to be MP. You know, I don't want to be MP. No, I don't want to. No. Because see, when I'm the candidate, the things I go to do. When I'm candidate, I can't do.
Do you face opposition within your own party?
Oh yeah. I mean, your biggest opposition is within.
How do you
politics?
How do you rise above that?
No, keep your eye on that. Just do what you are going to do. You face it. You face it. You internally, that's what your biggest opposition is. But it doesn't mean anything. You know, the real joy is what we are doing today, where I can confidently come and sit on radio and say I was fired. You know, when you are successful, you're able to tout your failures.
Yes.
You understand? Correct. So I'm able to sit here and say I was fired. So the real people who are suffering will be the internal saboteurs. They are the ones who are watching you this evening and they are suffering. So don't complain. Don't try to fight back. The fight back is this: your heart. You are getting broken heart. You are wondering, this guy, when is he going down? But he's never going to go down. But we are not going down because you know where we are coming from is far. We are very close, but we are very far. If I take you to where I've come from, you realize that Latta is just 45 minutes away.
Yes.
Now, where I come from is very, very far. And I'm not ready to pay attention to you to, distract me. We are going to make Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia president. And we'll make him president again in 2028. Why? Because I believe that the future of this country needs to be protected, at least for the long term. And I believe clearly that without any doubt, if you run a comparative analysis between Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, Dr. Bawumia is miles ahead of him. No disrespect to John Mahama, no disrespect at all. But sometimes you meet competition and there's nothing you can do about it. It's like Messi and Ronaldo.
What is your biggest fear in life?
Death. I don't want to die.
You don't want to?
No, life is. I don't want to die, Hula. I don't want to die.
You don't?
No. Why should you die?
It's not time for our mystery question. Miracles, here you go. Can you pick one? And here we go. As drum rolls. Okay.
Can you look at you down?
Oh no, you will feature down. I beg you. So read it out for us.
I beg you.
Yes, no, you don't go back. I beg. Just answer for us. That's the man, top man. Answer this question for us and read it out, please.
Greatest president MPP has ever produced.
Yes, sir.
Will be who?
Will be who? Yes.
Explain your choice.
Yes, boss.
I think that between Nana Danko Akufo-Addo and former President Mahama, former President Kufuor, it is a very difficult choice for me, and I won't lie, because these are leaders who came at different times, different generations, and different moments. If you look at what Nana Danko Akufo-Addo has done in the face of all the challenges and difficulties that we have, if you really take emotions out and take politics out and analyze the situation and what he's been able to achieve in impacting the lives of the Ghanaian person and ensuring that we build a long-term sustainability of this country, you'll be amazed. He's a fantastic president. If you look at where President Kufuor took Ghana, where we were in the year 2000, and where Kufuor moved us towards by the time we got to 2008, he's a fantastic president. I think in this country, if we are going to look for the best presidents we've had, it will be former President Kufuor and Nana Danko Akufo-Addo.
Abusianfo RAZ Media GH and Kennedy Japan Junior on Facebook. Yadamwase enemobre. Yemia Samson Adey. Yadawase enemobre. Abusia Selemonim no. We always bring you nothing but the truth. But before we go, let's hear our funny man.
Nani see ye esre. Ebi say ye to abani ye ya ye kan. Ye kan MPP dia no na enso. E che so mo amotimi so mo di nkugo. And the assess say I kind NDC dear, ye kind, and Sada, or who said NDC and D couldn't know. Offering him, or more people for your system money. And ordinary suburb of back in Balos move hope. And also, or they share the room, or started all real ballot. The journey is what dinner sheet and your born assume, and the ye ballot maybe. As we are ye ballot maybe now, I'm many baby, sir.
For Muamu JJ, way any DMO at the Mamo. Zongo man, country Zongo man, and so the big man, John Mahama, and NDC propaganda ideas. Yen couldn't esia na makramo. Masherentry, Michiao Edawase. YouTube for no, me church ya munina. Bamse na day, and then ask for. More mutumia kwenya, a buyer. Yebesan Asia, makramo.
Can say, Obisi hospital. Who did you? Me problem, they say. Hey, what me? Look at that. And this any panic for Obisi hospital. Who keeping the pan on his stores? No, see. That be our Australian. Who are keeping the pan on his stores? Now, Australian fire. Just all fire the tiny panel. Because when you can see Obisi hospitals and the amount of regions in the what do? You do that to keep the person. This not a tiny panel. Not a money panel. Because of cheap politics. Because of security politics. Nonsense. Now you're going to say hospitals why I'm paying. Nonsense. They know themselves who they Catholic. Okay, let them wait. But I will be back again. Many time say Obisi hospital. Who did you? Me problem they say. Hey, what me? Look at that. And this any panic for Obisi hospital. Who keeping the pan on his stores? No, see. That be our Australian. Who are keeping the panel on the stores? Now, fire. Just all fire the tiny panel. Because when you can see Obisi hospitals and the amount of regions in the what do? You do that to keep the person. This not a tiny panel. Not a money panel. Because of cheap politics. Because of security politics. Nonsense. Now you're going to say hospitals why I'm paying. Nonsense.
John, I didn't make sense. The hospitals are bedding Panquano, Mampania Kufado, Edigana Fusika, Ebeko Honum, Menko Timra,
I announce that where we functioning mission church hospital, will not put a rival hospital in the community. The money that we spend to establish a new hospital, we can use to expand the facilities of the mission hospital so that it continues to provide service. Unfortunately, under the 111 policy, that has not happened. In many places, they are properly functioning mission churches, but the state has going to put rival public. They are properly functioning hospitals that are managed by the churches, and yet the government has gone to put a rival government hospital, investing a lot of money to build a whole new hospital when we could have put that money into the existing hospital managed by the churches. And so it creates a duplication of efforts, it's a duplication of application of resources. And so it's something that we need to look at. And my thinking is that we must forge a new partnership in the health system in respect of the public hospitals and the president. I announce that where we have a properly functioning mission church hospital, will not put a rival hospital in the community. The money that we spend to establish a
President Mwanga said, 111 health units. ebi yɛ district hospitals, ebi yɛ clinics, 111. Na chairman, ade ayɛ ne wɔn wɔ Ghana ha no sɛ yɛn yɛte here no na obi ka sɛ ɔbɛyɛ 111 health projects a na ebinom nso bu afu ɔyɛ bɛyie ɛnoma no bi hɔ a mente aseɛ o yɛtumi ma politics didi yɛ mu to the point sɛ yɛte here mu yɛnni hospitals papa wokɔ aburokyire yɛka hospital ne yɛka clinic ni na sɛ obi se ɔbɛyɛ 111 na woto hɔ na obu afu a woyɛ bɛyifoɔ pap mo a moyɛ asɔfoɔ no mopɛ bɛyie etu a saa bɛyie ni bi na mo ntu na nkyɛ sɛ ɛyɛ ade pa biribia a ɛbɛboa ama any African country ɛnkɔ n'anim biara moma yɛmpia so na ɛnyɛ yie na da biara MPP, NDC, NTQ, PPT, ne adeɛ sɛ nhunu kwa nneɛma ɛbɛboa yɛn ama yɛakɔ yɛnim ɛna yɛhwehwɛ akyire kwae. It is a 111 hospitals and clinics ɛbɛba Ghana moma yɛmpia na ɛnyɛ yie.
All right, indeed, Right Reverend Professor Aaron Joseph Obiri Ebuamante, the former moderator of the President Church of Ghana.
Enna nipa be miensa. Yesi Mark Zuckerberg mo die na na dwen da ho. Yesi etone die. Na obo nipa miensa bidin. Yesi da na ne die elfo pa ne Mark Zuckerberg die no. Ana ko force na branch what the Facebook na de ade aba na fofofo sa esa na dwen fofofo sa no enko for universities na mo toto adwen mo se ono na dwen no wa utilize ya mezi and space bi ni baby ya enti adwen na ota wunya bibia de beye na ba ko bi so wase ho ya obi afa de nya hwie ya mza ko radio mo number ya ko fo kona dwen no ho me try to say adanya almost na the space more than 4,000 terabytes 40 million what when is ka well aje on fanye hwi Mahama Ababe MP deputy minister vice president president as a campaign after losing power twice. A campaign lose. A fair was a campaign third time beam. All of a sudden. What is that about America BBA? Copy. We were via. I was there it will be a fair follow period. Yeah. Uye fu no just asna fu bia na ko na mo na asasne da hwa na saba be asase bedie etia bia John no the wakọ follow period be 10 years it afede ba na dwene ba be fertile bi mo sa ne ma no ho dia but